It's an okay movie. It's an okay movie. And is it as good as the first one? My personal opinion, no. I think the first one was better. It was like the first of its kind of thing. And, and as again, if we, let's say, because we compare this to Star Wars, let's say, and Star Wars was like the first of its kind as well, but we had these characters that we then took on a journey, right? They basically were growing up. They got into a lot of trouble. We had a very unique bad guy that was fun to watch. We wanted to see this world develop. We wanted to see other areas of this universe, etc. And when we went on this journey with Star Wars, we got to see all these different planets, right? In the same movie. We'll see 3 different planets. We're here, we go from the forest on one planet to the water on the same planet. And there we stay there, right? And it's not like we don't have water on this planet, so it's very broad and, adventurous and exotic and all these things. And we just didn't get that here. We basically had a retelling of the first movie to a certain degree. And the epic ending from the first movie wasn't here. So we had this build up and a 3.5 hour movie, a 3 hour, 15-minute movie where very little happens. And it is a spectacle. So he goes in for the spectacle. That's what he does. And, I did see it in 3D, and the 3D was amazing. I mean, there were particles that were going, and I felt like I could touch them. And then at one point, Sully walked into the camera, so from outside the camera into it, and I had to almost jump because it looked like he was right next to me. But yeah, a lot of the characters were really good. I don't want to go into too many spoilers here at all, but some of the development of the characters, there was some bullying going on. Some of it I bought, some of it I didn't. And then, one of the brothers gets to, befriend a whale, when he was left out to die by some of the other things. So, but some of the other characters weren't developed at all. The other brother wasn't developed really at all. The little girl who was cute and bounced around, everything like that, there was no development to her at all. Nothing. Of course, we already knew Sully and Atiri, so we kind of knew their characters already, so they didn't really need a whole lot of development. But we got to see them as parents, which was good. I mean, to see them as parents and to see, again, we go to the forest and then we go to the water. And you know me, I love Atlantean shit. I love water shit. So I was very into the look and feel of all that. But there's a point where there's just too much world building. There's just too much. And it just drags on and on and on and on. And I'm like, are we going to get to a story here? And then the villain is the same villain from the last movie, except now he's an avatar. That's the reveal, is that we have a character who's, brought back. The villain's brought back for no reason. He was dead. There's no reason to bring him back. Let's get another villain in there. Let's get somebody, really evil and stuff like that. They tried to create their own Tarzan in it. I'm not sure if that worked. It was a fun character. The guy did a good job, but it was out of place. It was good to see Sigourney Weaver come back. And, her voice is in one of the avatars. And that was interesting. But again, it was at least 45 minutes too long for whatever reason that he wanted to go and pound us into this world. What I did like was that we got to see the water Na'vi, right? The water Na'vi. And they were paler. They were like more of an aqua green than the blue. They made fun of the other people's tails because they had more of like an eel looking tail. And they had like fins on their arms. I thought that was the design for the Water Navi was, I thought, were very good. They were interesting, and some of the characters in there were interesting. And Kate Winslet came in to play one of the voices. Edie Falco from The Sopranos played one of the villains. And now, instead of, here's the other thing, they were like all bent into getting this unobtainium or whatever it was from the first movie. Well, they forgot about that completely now. So now they're they're trying to find a different thing that helps develop life. So I don't know that they were taking these things out of the whales. How'd they find out about this when they haven't been on the planet this whole time? I have no clue. The whole story is basically a revenge story, and I don't know. It felt like even though the movie was, I think, grander in scope to some degree, because of the fact that we got to see both sides of Pandora, it felt smaller. The movie felt smaller. The plot felt smaller. Everything felt kind of smaller. And we just got to play in the water with these people, for 2 hours. So there wasn't much there. So the movie has to make Cameron said the movie had to make about $2 billion. I have AMC, so I didn't pay for the ticket. It went in my monthly. But the ticket was $25. So the tickets are about 80% more than a normal ticket, right? I think I would have paid normally about 15 or whatever else, and this was 25. So I don't know what the percentage that is. But internationally, it's doing very, very well. So it did $300 million internationally, $134 million domestically, which is not bad. So if they were able to hit $500 million on the first weekend, and a lot of people are waiting to see it when they can get better seats and the 3D things, and that brings. I'm glad 3D kind of died. And he's just bringing it back for his films, but it's not coming back for a whole bunch of films. I like that better, because it was when the 3D was going, it was too much, and I really don't like 3D. In fact, I was looking for other things to start that weren't 3D, because I really didn't want to see it in 3D. I'm glad I did see it in 3D, but it's kind of a one and done thing. I didn't really want to watch it again. I don't want to see any of the movies in 3D. Just give me regular 2D. But anyway, so I don't know how. I think that he's thinking that he's going to put, because I know they shot at least the second and third one together, and I think that he's including some of the stuff that he shot for 3 in that $2 billion that needs to be made. Either way, the sets that he made and the models that he made and all that's going to depreciate out because he doesn't have to build them again for the third one. So the budget for the third one won't be as big as the budget for this one, which I heard was around $400 million, which is pretty big. So $400 million. That's why he's saying that's got to make $2 billion. Because I don't know what the advertising rates were, the marketing rates were on it. But of course, even China, like we discussed last time, is only going to give 25% of the receipts back to the studio, which is Disney, and in the States they get about 50%. So I don't know how much of that was China, but even no matter what country we're talking about, there's, they don't get back 50%; they'll get back 35% or something to that effect. So internationally, where it made $300 million, they're not getting back 50% of that. So they might be getting back, $100 million out of that, and out of the $134 million, they'll be getting $70 million back. So there's, $170 million, just say $180 million that they got back out of the $400 million. And that doesn't include the marketing costs. So I don't know. I think they have a very, very long road ahead of them. I think that it will hit $1 billion like Wakanda Forever did not. In fact, my number that I thought Wakanda Forever would get about $750 million, I think I'm pretty close. I don't. It's not going to hit 800 million. If it does, I'll be surprised. Now, especially when it has this kind of competition. So anyway, so out of 10, I would say that Avatar: Way of Water is about a 7. It's an average film that I probably won't see again, and mostly because it's too long. He really needed to cut it back. All right. So anyway, happy holidays. Remember to share and subscribe. And also, I'm going to put the link, like I did in the last few videos. I put the link for the late pledge for Tales of Ravenor, the Iron Witch, and which will also be able to get the Lords of LA, which again, I'm going to be launching the third issue soon, which is a compilation of 3 and 4. The first one was a compilation of 1 and 2, issues 1 and 2. And also Destiny Aurora, the audiobook, is now for sale, and I've gotten some good feedback on that, and we had a good review from a reviewer. So excited for that. I'm excited to see more reviews come in. Anyway, excited, and have a great Christmas, and happy holidays, happy Hanukkah, and all the other religions. All right? Have a good night, everybody.